First order of business. There he is. There he is, Cole. All right. I should be able to hear that, I believe. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna listen to what he has to say, okay? And then I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe willingly. I like being the center of attention. Sometimes it sucks. But they won't do weightlifting anymore because we were supposed to do weightlifting because I'll just smoke everyone and it won't be funny, right? It's funny whenever I fuck up on the martial arts because like, oh, weightlifting it's one move, right? One move. I can. That's so fun. When oh yeah, and I do make sounds during sex. I don't like being put on the spot like that. You know, and like the
Forgot about that part.
redhead guy with the pot belly, he's like telling me I shouldn't be mean. Scott, Sensei Scott. I'm not saying Sensei. I'll just say Scott. Scott is like, oh, do this, do that, blah 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 blah. Oh, sex noises, ha ha ha. It's like, okay, you know, it's whatever. Ah.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? I'm not mad at Cole for saying what he said. Okay. Yes, I'm a hefty boy. I'm a hefty young lad. I like to eat. Like legit. That's my problem. I work out a lot, but I like to eat. And that's why I'm not pudgy as hell. I have a pot belly because on top of eating, I work out a lot. Right? Even my job, right? It's physical labor. It's demanding labor. It's demanding labor that almost makes it a little bit hard to lose weight because even when I do diet, it's less that I'm losing weight and more that I'm just replacing fat with muscle. Like I've noticed that when I went on a diet semi recently, right? I started fasting for basically half the day, sometimes well, no, not 3/4 of the day. A little bit over half the day I started fasting and my body was changing, but the thing is, I was just putting muscle on. That's it. Right? I had a weird like my abs were poking through, but I still had a pot belly. I had a pot belly with abs poking through. It was really fucking weird. I was confused, but I'm not mad at him for this, right? One thing I'm not a big fan of though is that he was basically catered to the entire day. And yeah, he had to fight Jimmy. Okay. We did body shots. Maybe Cole's never been in a fight before. And because of that, he doesn't realize that what went down was just like kind of a joke, if we're being honest here. It's stressful when you've never been in a fight before and all of a sudden you're in a fight, right? That's stressful, dude. But it's just weird to me, right? And I think at the end of the day, he was just ready to go home and there was nothing that could have been done to keep him from going home. Now, I'm not 1,000% sure what was going on, right? There's controversy. Some people are saying he quit. Other people are saying he got kicked. I don't even give a shit about that, right? I think he was going home regardless of what happened, though. Because, I mean, this dude was like, he had the best day out of anybody in the tank ever. Season 1, they didn't get to play video games and shit like that. He got to play video games on the stream. At the end of the best day ever, the best fish tank day ever. At the end of that, he's talking like this, and then there's the other things that he ended up saying that I'm not even going to address. I'm not even going to put those back into play. I just think he was ready to go home. I have no ill will towards Cole, even with what he said about me. Um, he was probably very stressed. I'm trying my best to put myself in his shoes and things like that. I don't think everything he said was fair. And I will also say that I believe he was acting a little bit like a child, if I'm just being 100% honest. That's just how I feel about it, right? That's kind of how a child does things, right? Now, obviously, I don't really need to be called Sensei Scott or anything like that, but he's sitting there in a room alone talking to the camera, and he's like, Sensei Scott. Oh, I'm not going to call him Sensei, though, right? That's kind of his way of trying to poke and prod and be like, yeah, that's right. I ain't calling you Sensei. And it's like, well, I'm in the other room, dude, so I don't care what you call me. I don't care what you call me. Call me whatever you want, so long as when you're around me, you're not calling me any mean names. It's hard for me to hate anybody, especially anybody who's a part of this show. I liked Cole. I thought he was an alright guy. I'm not disheartened by what he happened to say about me, though there are things that I do feel were unfair, and there are things that I think were coming from a standpoint of him just being ready to get the fuck out of there. I think that a lot of the criticisms that are levied against the producers, because of whatever happened, whether he was kicked or whether he left, is kind of unfair considering some of the other things that Cole was doing, things that he was warned about. And overall, I think they just kind of looked at him and it was kind of a John situation because John was at a point where he didn't say it out loud, but the things he was doing, the things he was saying, the way he was going about doing these things, the producers kind of understood, like, okay, I think we should probably get this guy the fuck out of here because I think he's ready to blow. I think he's just ready to go. I think this is kind of the same situation, if I'm just being honest here. Cole at that point was the most popular. I'm sure they didn't exactly love the idea that they had to get rid of him or anything like that, but they probably felt like they had to do so. I don't know though. You know, it just is what it is. I saw a lot of weird stuff, mostly on the Reddit. I do browse the Reddit from time to time. I've noticed that there's a lot of haters on the Reddit, and you know, hey, like everybody's got to have a club. Everybody's got to have a place to hang out. And if you're gonna hate watch and you want to hang out somewhere and it just happens to be the Reddit, then fine, go ahead. But I just think it was a bad situation. I think it was a bad situation that was only going to get worse. And regardless of whoever made the decision that Cole was going to leave, whether it was Cole or if it was the producers. Oh yeah, I was saying, look, I wish nothing but the best for Cole. He said he works construction for his parents' business. He says he doesn't really like it that much. I hope he can get out of it one way or another. I hope he can do what he wants to do with his life. I hope he's successful doing so. If that means he becomes a big time streamer, then hey, all right, good for him. It sucks that Cole left before he could box Brian. Yeah, that would be pretty great. If they could have boxed. Yeah, that would have been nice, you know. And the thing is, like, we were going easy on Cole. It's just that I think he is a very particular kind of person. And I think because he is very particular, that makes it hard for him to have friends, right? He's probably a very picky person. And I don't just mean with people. I mean with situations, with other stuff like that. I understand, right? He knew a little bit about season 1. He knew about the meme with John getting bopped in the head by Sam when he was throwing kicks and shit like that. I get it, fine. He wasn't a big fan of it. Okay, whatever. Right? But we did go pretty easy on him. I didn't kill them with conditioning or anything like that. The body shot sparring wasn't that hard. Jimmy was hitting me with the same shit he was hitting Cole with. And I wasn't trying, like, I was defending the punches, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't trying nearly as hard as Cole was to defend those punches. And sure enough, like, when Jimmy did hit me, you know, the rare occasions that it did happen, it didn't really hurt that bad. So it's kind of a situation where it's like, dude, I think you kind of got inside your own head. I think you let your pickiness kind of ruin the situation for you. And you took some things the wrong way. And because of that, you decided to reject people who were trying to be friendly with you. I understand. I'm the same way to a degree, except I'm not so angry about it. The bottom line is sometimes I get in my own head about things and then I end up missing something that would have been, like, good for me. Here's an example. Nick Rochefort. I never expected in a million years Nick Rochefort would want to try to have a conversation with me. I knew he probably had some vague idea about who I was, right? You know, Sam's boxing coach, and sometimes I'm involved with certain things that Sam and the crew invite me to, but I didn't think he'd be like, oh yeah, dude, what's up? How are you? Oh, let's have a conversation, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think he'd be like that. So because of that, when he tried to have a conversation with me, I made an ass of myself because I was like, oh, shit, this is Nick Rochefort and he wants to talk to me. Whoa, dude. Right? And because of that, I think for a little while, and I don't know, it still might even be the case, Nick Rochefort probably thought I was a bit of a fucking weirdo. Right? When it comes down to it. That's just an example of how I sometimes get inside my own head and I end up doing something weird because of it. And I think it's kind of what happened with Cole. But that is what it is.